you. Individual works for the Navy SEALs. He doesn't want to get the vaccination. He's requested a religious accommodation. What do you think the Navy should do? All right, what up, fam? We're back with another episode of We the People here in Carlsbad, California. And this episode is in proud partnership with First Liberty Institute. I want you to go check them out because they're doing an amazing job standing up and fighting for our liberties here in the United States. Now, this episode, what we're doing is asking the public about mandates. Should government employees be mandated to take an experimental vaccination? Let's find out what they think. Come on. What do you think should happen to people that don't want to get vaccinated?
To each his own.
What about like Navy SEALs? So they spend 16 months training. They already have all the vaccinations.
Yeah.
What do you think? What should happen to them?
Well, employers change requirements all the time. And so if that's a requirement, either you do it or you don't. That's my philosophy.
What do you think the government should do to those SEALs?
If that's the mandate, that's the mandate.
So you think they should be terminated?
If the company says if you don't get mandated, you don't get vaccine, you can't work here, then that's the rules.
So then terminate the Navy SEALs that won't get...
Say that. I just said if those are the rules, that's the rules.
Have you heard about the Navy SEALs case where the Navy SEALs are attempting to get a religious accommodation, but they've been denied or postponed?
I haven't heard them specifically. My brother-in-law's in Italy, and he's in the Air Force, so I've heard like other military, but I didn't hear that specifically. But
so they've been given medical accommodations, but they will not give a religious accommodation for the vaccine. What are your thoughts on that?
religion is oftentimes more important to some people than even their medical health, so I think it's a little unfair.
What do you think should happen to people that are mandated who have a religious accommodation request?
I feel like they should just get tested like every week.
What's the difference between a medical accommodation and a religious accommodation?
Medical is like if you're allergic to something in the vaccine, or religious is like if your beliefs are against it.
Which is greater?
Ooh, I think the allergy reaction, because you could die, you know.
Couldn't breaking someone's religious beliefs, spiritually, affect them?
I guess so, yeah.
So what if you think an individual is desiring a religious accommodation? Do you think that should be granted?
I think in America, if you want to, you should be able to. If you don't, you shouldn't.
What do you think should be done to people that are requesting religious accommodations?
I think they should be respected.
Just like the medical and administrative accommodations?
Absolutely.
Have you heard about the Navy SEALs not being granted accommodations based on their faith?
Yeah, I have.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's bullshit. Well, the CDC just came out recently admitting that unvaccinated people who have had COVID have just as much immunity, right?
What should happen to people that are requesting a religious accommodation from the vaccine?
They shouldn't get it.
That they should be granted their accommodation?
Yeah.
Well, what if they're Navy SEALs?
Uh-huh.
Should they also be granted their accommodation?
Yeah.
Even though they're government employees?
Yeah.
Even though they're federal government employees?
Yeah.
That they should be granted their accommodation?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Do you think that the rights should be protected of Navy SEALs?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Even though they're government employees?
Right. Yeah. It's their choice.
What do you think should happen to folks who are government employees that are told that they're mandated to get the vaccine and they choose not to?
They shouldn't get it.
You think that they should be...
It's an emergency use vaccine, and too many people have gotten sick, and they've actually gotten the COVID from getting the vaccine. So I guess you know where I stand.
I just want to clarify. What you're saying is if they desire not to get it, they should be granted their accommodation and they don't have to get it.
That's absolutely.
There's a friend of mine's grandson is in the Coast Guard. He's been in for 9 years, 8 or 9 years. And if he doesn't get his shot by October, the 1st of October or the last of October, he's going to be discharged, general discharge. Ooh. I don't think that's fair. I think, like she says, not the same thing, but my body, my choice, my vaccine, my choice.
What do you think about government employees that have a religious accommodation and they don't want to get vaccinated? Do you think they should be forced to get vaccinated?
Government employees?
Yeah.
Yeah, they work for the people.
So they have to get it. They don't get to have their rights protected?
Well, because they work for the government, they have to protect the people. So yeah, they should be vaccinated.
Even though they don't want to?
Even though they don't want to.
Wow, that's heavy. Heavy. Should they have an ability to get an accommodation based on their religion?
Well, I'll tell you, being in the service, you might as well forget about any accommodations. You better forget about any rights, because that's just the way it is. You know, you follow the rules when you go in service, and there are no exceptions. You know.
Do you think that the Navy SEALs should be forced to get vaccinated against their religious belief?
Well, I don't think that religion shouldn't play into it in the sense that there are lives to protect.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. It sounds like the answer to your question would be yes, they should be forced to take the vaccine against their religious belief.
You know, and I'm a Navy man. I was a Navy man, and I still believe that they should get their vaccinations. Yes, I do.
What are your thoughts if a government employee is mandated to get the vaccine, but they're requesting a religious accommodation?
You know, you work for the government. It's what you got to do. I was in the Navy. When I was in the Navy, this was 79 to 85. They would line us up, it seemed like every other Friday, and give us shots. We were government employees. We just did it.
As a government employee, do you lose all of the protection of your rights?
No, certainly, no.
There have been medical as well as administrative accommodations granted to SEALs, but when the religious accommodation was requested, they've been denied or ignored completely.
I wasn't aware of that. No, and I think that's wrong, but it depends on what they're doing it. If they're using their religion to get out of doing something, or if it's truly like their religion just tells them not to do this.
How do we determine if an individual's religious belief is sincere?
You know, I don't know how to answer that.
All right, what are your thoughts on mandatory vaccination?
Not my thing.
Why?
You can't make you get something. I don't know.
Why not?
It's just, you can't force something like that on someone if it messes with your health.
What if you're a government employee?
Then it's kind of. I feel like if you're going in and you're working for the government, if it's a government, they're forcing you to do it, then I feel like you kind of have to.
Wait, but you just said you can't force somebody.
But if it's for your job and you're agreeing to do that job, then I think you should.
Wait, so you can be forced as long as you're in a government job, then you can be forced?
As long as the government tells you before you get that job that, oh, you have to be vaccinated for this job.
The Navy SEALs are protecting our country, so they shouldn't be forced to take a vaccine, and if they don't take it, then they're not on the Navy anymore. I don't know.
Sure, do you agree with that?
Yeah, it makes sense. You shouldn't have to do something just to serve the country.
All right, so a moment ago you said that they should be if they're in the government.
I forgot that works for the government technically, the Army and Navy. So that's my exception probably. Army and Navy is my exception.
If you're in the military, you have an exemption based on your religious belief. But if you're in the FBI or CIA, that's
I
different.
feel like if you're just like a desk jockey, and they're telling you to get it, you should just get it.
Well, in that case, then no one should be able to force to do it. If only certain
Because that would be discrimination. Because that's discrimination. If you have a desk job versus if you're a physically fit athlete that's a SEAL, that's straight discrimination.
That is true.
So what are your thoughts now?
I don't know anymore.
All right, there you have it. Another episode is in the books. We learned a lot that people really don't like the idea of being forced to do something against their religious beliefs. If you want to learn more about the Navy SEALs court case, I urge you to go to firstliberty.org/Navy SEALs. Until next time, peace.
More protection. So.
Got it all figured out. She's got it figured out. We got it figured out. Oh, that was so awesome.